Good day, everyone. I'm Anton, and for those of you squeamish to blood, I'm not sorry. Buck up and let's begin. Among the different kinds of foams, polyurethane is made through a reaction of two chemicals, an isocyanate and a polyol. A startup biotech company, Arsenal Medical, developed such a foam as a delivery system for another treatment. They opened up swine, wrapped wires around their livers, closed them, and tugged on the wires to induce internal bleeding, where subsequent injection of the liquids would take place. After testing, they opened up the swine to find that poof, the foam had reduced blood loss sixfold. 72% of treated pigs survived, while only 8% of control pigs did. The military's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, funded them to develop a foam that would be safely compatible with humans, while maximizing the effects desired. And so we have a syringe that injects two liquids simultaneously into the navel for on-site fast expansion into a foam that molds to organs and stanches blood loss in any internal wound. This research was placed under DARPA's wound stasis program, addressing the concern that many, if not most fatalities come from wounds that could have easily been sewn up and taken care of. As the military backs up this research, we find the obvious big deal in a material that can stave off blood loss and allow soldiers to survive for around 3 more hours until better medical treatment instead of dying within minutes of gunshot on the battlefield. However, we again note the obvious application this has away from war. Every so often, a vehicular accident happens, or even more dire, the result of a plane crashing, or a collapsed building keeping civilians hurt and trapped. For any survivors of any of the following situations, such a product on hand would spell the difference between death in minutes and a few hours patience before possible rescue. Even hospitals may benefit from this, allowing doctors time to prepare proper medical procedures and solutions at the instance of emergencies, such as the one presented below. Guys, Princess Diana could have still been alive today. This is a big deal. Currently, DARPA has granted Arsenal a Phase 2 grant of an additional $15 million. That said, what remains immediate for Arsenal is to improve their product, while addressing the concerns spelled out such as foam bruising internally or the possible reaction of isocyanate, a known CDC cautioned irritant, with body membranes. In terms of future prospects for their business model, Arsenal Medical would either have to boost their manufacturing capability or secure a mass production manufacturer of their products for them. As they have had government support from the beginning, and acknowledging the government's desire to supervise every step of their progress, it may be expected that the government will have a hand in supplying manufacturing needs, as the lives of their soldiers on the battlefield are paramount. Following this is the matter of distribution, which now relies heavily on Arsenal Medical and DARPA's intentions of either keeping or commercializing such a product. Do they export to other countries? Other governments and their militaries? With whom will they do business? Only time will tell. As long as men are capable of dying, this product will find its use. That said, we have here a product whose demand is quite ubiquitous, likely finding a niche in first aid kits everywhere. Think back to the catastrophes I mentioned. This hemostatic foam would be nothing short of the word lifesaver. In terms of innovation, we find that the medical arms race is on. A fellow startup to Arsenal Medical's intents is RevMedX, which has developed a sponge from wood pulp and chitosan that targets small areas and localized wounds, in contrast to Arsenal's internal body cast. The sponges stick to moist body tissue, soak up blood, expand, and clog bleeding the same way. Both ways have their own pros and cons, meaning that there are more ways than one to skin a cat, and there is still much innovation that can be done. The chitosan used for the sponges was taken from shrimp scales due to antimicrobial properties, and so it would please the minds of Filipino innovators to challenge them to develop something for the same use with the entire plethora of Philippine fauna and flora at their disposal. Back to Arsenal, we find progress through the years has blessed them with 7 patents, of which 2 are directly relevant to the topic at hand. On the right, Systems and Methods Relating to Polymer Foams, published in 2011, and In Situ Forming Hemostatic Foam Implants, published in 2012. The first set of images on the left are pictures from the papers presenting sample foams from experimentation and development. On the right, you see a schematic of the expected polymer linkages that are supposed to occur, explaining the signs of polymerization after the 2 liquids are injected. Below, we find a design for such a delivery system or syringe, followed by a schematic of the progressing expansion of the foam. It is interesting to note that 5 months following the foam patent, Arsenal published in situ forming foams for treatment of aneurysms, which describes the application and expansion of foam in blood vessels to treat minute vessel hemorrhages, known as aneurysms. The progressing developments of Arsenal Medical indicate that research into medical foams is not new but still opening. This supports the previous slide's statements in that there are still much to develop and that we can try our hand at it too. Thank you. References and image sources.